Hi everyone, it's Tamara here with another card making tutorial. This time I'm using some stamps from Streamside Studios. I'm using chocolate covered strawberry cows and Miraculous muffins. So I kind of did a mashup of both sets to create this cute Valentine's Day card. I got some COPIC colouring of the images and then a card making tutorial. So let's get started with some colouring. So I'm wanting to create like a white cow with black spots, but we don't want to just leave the white areas just completely bare because it will look very flat. So I'm going to use my C markers with a little bit of W markers just to create a little bit of shadowing. I will be having my light source from the top left hand corner, so all my shadows will be based on the right hand side of the cow. So I've just gone in with my darkest C3, blending that out with the W1, and then we'll go in with our lightest C marker to blend that out into that white card space. So I'm just working a little flick motion so we get a nice blend between each color. So just flicking those out. And then to make sure we've got a nice smooth transition into that white cardstock, I'm just going to grab out my colorless blender and blend that out so we've got a nice smooth transition to the white. So he still looks like a white cow even though we have used those grey markers to give him a bit of detail. So I just put my shadow in first, like with the lightest color, and now I'm going in with the darkest, and we're going to blend that out into the lightest color. We've got our W7 is our medium marker, and our lightest color will be our W5. So we'll blend that out fully, and that's going to be our colors for his spots. So I also end up using the same colors for the little hair. So again, I just worked out where I want my shadows to be with my lightest color, going with the dark through to our medium, and then we'll finish off with our lightest W5 to blend that final color out. And now I've got a beautiful smooth transition. So I wanted to add a little bit of like pinkiness to his ears, face and chest. So I'm just going to be using some red markers just to blend those out. And then finishing with our lightest, which is the R01. So it just gives him a little bit of a softening and pop of colour. Now I'm going to do the hooves and his horns the same colour, just to try and keep it a little bit simple so we're not grabbing out too many colours. So we'll blend that out to our highlight. Now we'll get started. This is going to take the longest amount of time, being our swirl of icing on our cupcake. So I'm kind of going like a little pinky purple combination. So again, I'm going in with my lightest color to set out my shadows, so the shadows that you get from the actual swirl itself, and then obviously also the shadows that we get from being on the right hand side and the shadows from the actual cow. So we will also have some shadows off those little love heart pieces that are on our swirl. So you just want to add a little bit of shadowing because they'll throw a little shadow. And then again, coming from our cow, we want a little bit of shadow underneath that. And again, on that right hand side. Now we'll blend out with our middle color. Now I wasn't 100% happy how that was blending out, so I thought I'll get some tip to tip action happening. Grab my RV95 against the V99 to blend that out. So again, making sure we're working just little flicking motions to help us get a nice smooth blend between each of our colors. And we'll grab that from the top and go around. So we're trying to keep the lightest, the lightness on the left hand side of our swirl, but still create a little bit of shadowing to create some interest in that swirl. Just flicking out. So obviously it's quite a bit shadowed in this one because we've got the shadow from the swirl and also the shadow from the cow. And now we've got that blended, we'll go to our medium color, which is our RV93. Again, just working in towards that white light space. That's going to be our highlight. You can see just flicking that color out to ensure we get a nice blend linking up with some of our other parts of our icing as we do that. And we'll finish with our lightest colour, which is our RV91. I'm just going to leave that little sliver of white space initially, so that to ensure that's nice and highlighted. And we're going to just run through those colours again, but not adding the V99 by itself, just adding it with our tip to tip with our RV95. So I was quite happy with the amount of shadow we had, and I didn't want to make it too dark. So again, just blending that with the tip to tip, working up into our lighter space. And then we'll go our medium, which is the RV93, to blend that out. And then we'll go in with our final colour and go right into that whole amount of space, including where that white highlight is. Just leaving a very little slither on that left hand side. So we've got a nice shiny, beautiful cupcake swirl. So that's our icing done. So we'll set our shadow for where that icing kind of hangs over the top of our cupcake. So add our darkest colour in, blend that out with the YR23, and then our final colours, which is the YR21 and the YR20 again, which was our first colour that we put down. Now, to also create a little bit of interest and make sure it looks kind of spongy, I'm going in with the darker E35, which was our shadow colour, and then also with the YR23 to finish off those dots, kind of making it darker with those dots on the right hand side. And I just realized I missed part of the swirl of icing up on that left hand side of the cow. I'm just using those colors again just to have that nice and blended out. Now we'll get our cupcake wrapper done. So I'm just going down those lines, because obviously there'll be like little divots where that cupcake wrapper is. And we'll now go in with our darker color to set our shadows, which I'm doing with the B23 for my shadows. And then we'll blend that out with the BG45, because I kind of want a kind of bluey green aqua color wrapper to match in with our purpley pink swirl. Just using some flicking motions to make sure we get that a smooth blend. So our second lightest color, which is our BG32, and then we'll go in with our highlight color, which is the BG11. So I am leaving some of those spots white if I can, to create like little highlights. And that's our little wrapper done. Now again, I'm going to have these as white hearts, but as I mentioned before, you want to make sure that you have some shadowing on your white to make it look like it does have some dimension. So I'm just using those C markers again to get that looking like a white heart. Now I've done a white top folding note card, and I will have all the measurements in the description box below. And I'm actually going to be doing some ink blending directly to the card base itself, just with two colors blending up into the white space. So I'm starting with my lightest color, the milled lavender, and just really lightening my hand as I get up into that white cardstock. And because the Dusty Concord, which is my darkest color, is quite dark, I'm just initially dabbing it off onto my glass work mat, so I don't put too much color down the bottom, so that ensures a nice soft smooth blend between these two colors. So I'm just working circular motions, and now we've got the beautiful blend. Now there's some fun sentiments in the chocolate covered strawberry cows stamp set, and one is Love Moo, but I wanted to use this love die that I have, so I've actually grabbed out some white cardstock and I'm going to just run that through my die cutting machine 3 times to create the love. So when I printed out my initial sentiment with the moo, I just cut out that love part of that so that I could use this main love sentiment as that portion. So now I've cut that out 3 times through my die cutting machine. Just using a little brush to get rid of any kind of little Furbies that might be around the outside of that, the die cutting of that love word. And now we'll get them all layered up together. So I'm just using my precision glue tool because it is quite windy, and this puts just a beautiful amount of glue on to get a nice adhered between each layer. So we'll just line that up and just work that with your fingers to ensure that you've got that perfectly lined up together. And I'll do the final one off screen. Now I've just trimmed that initially down because I want to make sure that I'm going to cut this into a nice little sentiment strip to go at the base of the love. So I've just chopped each side, allowing a little bit of border of white cardstock around all sides. Now that card base is dry and I've got all my elements ready to go, I'm just going to work out how I want this placed out. So initially I thought I'd just pop him right in the middle and then have just the love centered underneath. But then I just thought I'd just move this around and see if there's any other ways that this would look different. So I thought about doing it there and having the love kind of sitting over, and I just thought that was quite cute, having that love word over the cupcake base itself. So just to tie everything in together. And because I was going to have that moo sitting over that love, and I'd already kind of stacked that up with multiple layers, I just put a little bit of foam tape on either end where that sits over where that love little end will be sitting. So now I'm going to glue our little image directly onto our card front, just kind of lining that up, making sure that that's straight, and we'll give that a good press down. And I just had to, sometimes you just have to stand up and have a look to make sure it's looking straight. And now we'll get our love just glued on over the top. It was sticking up a little bit, so I just made sure I gave that a good press down. We'll add some glue again with that precision tool, and then get our love attached to the front, just resting slightly over our cupcake base, and have it all tied in together. And now we'll get our little moo. We'll just put a little bit of glue where that sits over that little swirl. Take off our release paper and then get that sitting over that end of that love, making sure that's nice and straight. Now I got these cute Valentine's Day clay chips from my local Kmart store. So I'm not sure if you can get that in all countries, but I thought these cute little love hearts would look really nice as little embellishments. So I'm just going to place them around. So I know that you've most probably heard in most design things is to have like a 3, so it kind of centers around your images. So I wanted to just move some of these around and place them strategically around our little image and also the sentiment. So I'm just kind of lining them up and working out where I'd like them to be laid. Now I did have that kind of blue to match in with that base, but I didn't really like the look of it. It kind of looked a bit tacky to me, so I just thought all these little kind of purpley pink chips, little hearts, would look a lot better. So I'm just placing them out exactly where I want, and I'm just kind of offsetting them, some to the left, some to the right, just to create a little bit of interest there. So once I've got them all in place, I'm going to grab out my glue. Now I find the best thing for gluing these types of like little chips down is the Glossy Accents from Ranger. It just adheres them really well, and in the end I do actually use the Ranger to actually embellish them as well. So I've just grabbed my little pickup tool, and I did get a little bit of glue that squished out, so it's good with this end. You can just scrape away anything there. Just pop a little bit of glue on where you want that to sit and place it down with your pickup tool. Do the same, and I'm just putting a little bit on this love. There was a kind of like little crease there, so I thought putting that over the top kind of hid that as well. Sometimes where you place your sequins can be strategic for things like that. So again, a little bit of glue is there, so it's great with this. You can just pick that off. And I thought it might be nice just to have that one of those hearts just sitting on that cupcake itself. So I just was kind of working out, do I want it to the side or to the front. So sometimes it's good just to kind of step back and just see where you want things to sit. So now we'll get that final heart attached. And now with the glossy accents, I wanted to put some on the hearts that are actually on our cupcake itself. So just putting a little dab on there just to create a little bit of dimension and shine for those hearts. And then I also then decided to pop them on these little clay pieces as well, just to give them a little bit of a shine and match them with the hearts that are on our cupcake. So just be very careful that you do that so that it doesn't leak anywhere. And this is a finished card for this tutorial. You can see with moving it with the light just how those little pieces of hearts shine with that glossy accents on it. And this little cow and the muffin is just so gorgeous. I think this would make anyone happy receiving this for Valentine's Day. I hope you've enjoyed this card making tutorial. If you have, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to see any future videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.